Good evening.
Hello.
Oh, hold on. Joe's StreamYard's just there. Are you logged in? Yeah. Right, 2 seconds. Let me just get Joe up. Uh, Studio? Yeah, where's the studio? Yeah. How is everyone tonight? Hope you're all
I'm
okay.
good. Oh,
Yeah. Oh, we've only got one person in here at the moment. 2 seconds. We'll just wait for some more people to come in.
how are
Uh,
you today?
we
You okay?
Yeah, not bad. Yeah, we haven't actually heard from Eddie. I need to contact him actually and make sure he's okay because he's uh he's literally got rid of his whole YouTube now, hasn't he?
Yeah. Has he completely deleted it, or do you think he's just sort of taking it down for now temporarily?
I can't see his channel as well. Yeah, I think his channel's completely gone because he did
Oh,
say that, didn't he? He said that he was gonna delete it and then he said about leaving it in dormant and then
oh.
yeah, the whole YouTube's gone.
I don't know if
So
in dormant it would show up. It maybe it disappears until he reactivates it again, perhaps.
yeah,
I hope so, because he's
I
made some
know.
amazing content, hasn't he? So,
Yeah, I'm literally
oh.
hoping that like by the time he calms down and stuff like that, he might come back. I'm hoping he's just hid it.
Well, yeah, the other day we were talking and we weren't sure if AD, Armchair Detective, was actually going to give him the apology, and he hasn't, has he? He's
No, no.
basically um, saying, what's the trend? No, 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 no,
Oh,
no.
that was so funny. That I was wetting myself like that, and it was Scott Super Chuffer's face that just literally made my night because he was just so like his
Oh,
face
he
was
was
just like a
absolute
little kid,
classic
wasn't
moment.
it?
Yeah, I was
But
watching
yeah,
Super Chuffer, and it was just absolute classic video. When he went live, he was live for about 2 hours, wasn't he? And
yeah,
it was just it because it's been such a tense time with people not feeling great, and it's not very nice to see, really, is it? But
no,
Scott was just so funny. He was just literally just the chat was amazing as well. Everyone that participated was just it was a classic moment. My girls were going,
yeah.
"What are you laughing at, Mum?"
Right, give me 2 seconds. I'm just literally sharing the link so we can
Oh,
get some more people in.
but if
Is everyone
Eddie,
else all right tonight?
I'm just going to say, if Eddie's
Hi,
listening, please
Betty.
come back.
Yeah.
We
Hi,
miss
Bad
you.
Fairy. Hi, Claire. Hope you're both okay. Come and say hi and chat to us. Let us know you're here. It's been one hectic week this week.
I think with the weather being nice, I've noticed that everywhere's just gone mental crazy. It's just been
Yeah.
all the shops are busy and the roads are busy and everyone's out, driving like maniacs on the roads as well. And oh, it's crazy times indeed.
Hold on, I'll just right one more place to share it, and then we can go.
Just Claire, yeah, AD is a liar. He's, at the end of the day, we all know Eddie um, was first with the dog collar post. he does a lot of investigations privately, Eddie, and it's bad when his work gets plagiarised, really, isn't it?
Yeah, you know, when I watched that his video, and I was just so sad. It really did make me. It just upset me so much because he's done a lot of stuff, and they just the fact that there's one person out there that's just like he is, and it don't take much just to say I'm sorry. Yeah, I've used your stuff. I shouldn't have done. I apologise. But he just
That's it.
don't
Even
care,
if
does
you,
he?
he doesn't care at all. Even if you just think that you've upset somebody, and just for the point of making peace with other peers on YouTube, he could just sort of at least think about things. But I just don't think he thinks in a normal way. I think
No.
with AD it's just his ego, big ego, all
Yeah.
about I'm the best. No, 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 no.
Yeah,
That
but
just
that's
says it all.
yeah. But the fact that he was like, "No, I'm first. No, I'm first." You know, he's the one that jumps on without even investigating or checking like facts first. He's like, "I've got to get online. I've got to get online. I've got to, get this out there before everyone else." So
Yeah.
yeah, but when he was like that, nah, 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 I was just wetting myself laughing.
Oh, because the thing is, we're not laughing with him. We're laughing at him
Yeah,
because it just says so much about his character in order to, to say that in the first place and to react like that. It's just proper like childish, isn't it?
yeah. Have
Oh,
you guys watched Super Chuffer? Yeah. That video that he done.
yeah. When was it? It was just a couple of
Two
nights ago,
seconds.
wasn't it?
Yeah, 2 seconds.
Because obviously
Let's give it 2 seconds.
Scott and AD have got their beef with each other, haven't they? That's quite obvious. But
Yeah,
you know, Eddie's just Eddie, isn't he? He's just him and his granddad. He's just got a completely different way of style of doing his work again. And it's just really sad to lose him
yeah,
when it
and
could be so easily sorted out.
yeah,
Because
it's
AD,
so
AD
upsetting.
had three things that he could have done. He could have done what he did, which is making him look like a bit of a plonker, really.
Yeah,
Or he could have apologised, and he would actually make himself look a lot better in a lot of people's eyes. Or I suppose he could have just sort of not done either and just ignored it. And
yeah,
I suppose let people sort of come to their own opinions of
yeah.
him for doing that. But
They will
um,
do. They will do after a while. People will start boycotting his channel, and he will start literally getting to the point where everyone will be like, Joe, I'm not watching this no more because they will find out the truth.
yeah, because I think a lot of people from where who I've heard discussing the matter have said that that's what they're intending to do already. So it's sad. It's sad on all levels. But I just hope Eddie comes back. Because I think sometimes it's horrible, isn't it, when you creating a work and then you do come across the trolls. That's across the board, isn't it? Everyone gets them, and but it's bad when it's another creator who. We're all kind of like working on the same thing. We all believe that Nicola Bulley's death isn't as the police say, and we want justice for her. So we're all on the same side. So we shouldn't be arguing with each other. Oh,
Sorry, my mic muted for some reason.
Does it? I thought, oh, it's all gone quiet. I was like, what?
I'm
I thought I
talking
was talking
away, and
to
then nothing's
myself,
going.
which wouldn't be the first time.
No,
But
yeah.
oh
So
no,
literally, to Diet Stream, we just wanted to like cover mental health side of things because obviously that's one of the they said that MB had. So before we get into that, obviously I really don't want to have to say this, but I do. This is for entertainment purposes only, which obviously it's hard to say that when it's it's not for entertainment, but we have to do that for the disclosure. Anything we say is obviously our opinions
our
only.
opinion.
Um,
Yeah,
so yeah, just obviously wanted to get that out of the way because I didn't want to have to say that halfway through when we go through like the mental health side of things. So um, yeah, so yeah, we just wanted to
right.
cover that because obviously they did say that NB was suffering from depression due to perimenopausal and obviously the alcohol issues. So we thought it would be good just to cover a bit of the mental health side of things. We're not going to go into detail that's been put out there. Not going nowhere near that because I don't agree that that's been put out there. So we are literally going to stick to depression side of things. Um,
Yeah, it will. Mental health is such a huge and diverse topic. It affects so many people, and there's a massive stigma attached to it as well.
oh yeah,
And we should be talking about it because people are saying, "Oh, we shouldn't talk about it. Leave things alone." Yes, we bloody well should be talking about it because it affects people, and by not talking about it, it just makes things 10 times worse for those people who are struggling with it because it honestly I think the statistics are something like 1 in 3 of us will have some shape or form of mental health issue at some stage in our life,
yeah,
and
no, exactly, and
it can
it
manifest its way in so many different ways. It can be as a child, or as we get older, as we get really older, we might get dementia. There's so many different levels to it, and
Yeah, and there is, and it, like you say, with the stigma as well. It's that's what the frustrating part is, and to be honest, that is what got me to the point where I'm like, no, with like the MB case, I was like, no, you shouldn't have done that. I don't care what they said. They've just given everyone that stigma back. It's like, no, we can't talk about mental health because I'm going to be looked at, frowned upon because of um I'm going to be the one that like everyone's going to think I'm going to do something. I'm not, and it's not. It could just be that you're having a real bad time at the moment, and you need some help to get through it. And it should be everyone should be able to talk about it. You
yeah,
know,
absolutely.
we should
And it's
always.
like I'm really open with my girls, because they've got the whole life ahead of them, and they've already had to deal with bereavement, which is actually bereavement is a mental state as well.
Yeah,
It's dealing with and coping with the loss of a loved one. So already at a young age, my girls are facing their own mental health challenges.
yeah,
So it it affects people in so many different ways. Going through puberty, that affects them as well. That's when I was a kid, I remember being young, and I got anxiety because I had exams and because my mum and dad were going through a divorce, and it started then, and
yeah,
it carries on into adulthood, as we'll go through, I think, a little bit.
yeah. No, exactly, and and that's where, like, with the kids growing up these days, and it's harder for children these days. You've got to admit because they not only do they have But everything's there. Everyone can get at them, no matter what, if they're being bullied and stuff like that. You have got social media is so wide now. Um,
Oh
they
yeah.
can never get away from it, can they?
Well, that's it.
Never get
Yeah,
away
because
from it.
I like when I was in school, you were lucky if you got a photograph taken a couple of times a year at
Yeah,
school, and now there's like photographs and videos on phones, and all the social media, and kids can go home from a really crap day in school, and bullying can continue at home as well, and throughout holidays.
yeah.
Um,
Oh,
can you hear me okay?
yeah, yeah. You just cut out for a second then.
Oh, so I'm on the trusty old phone again,
Yeah,
because
good old
technology
phone.
is my forte. Oh, I'm not having a very good time with technology today. My laptop broke, so I was like, "Ugh." So I'm just back on the phone, but I will be I'm just going to treat myself and get a new laptop, and then I can go back
Yeah,
to my
good
3D
stuff.
animation and stuff again. All the
Yeah.
geeky stuff that I used to do.
Uh,
Um,
you can help me out sometimes.
yeah. Well, I was in university doing all my IT degree, and then when I became bereaved, it was 2 years ago since my partner passed, and I didn't really want to look at a computer, because you've just got to sort of deal with your emotional side, and for me that was just like stay away from the computer and focus on the girls and my own well-being, just taking each day as it comes. But um you know I think I'm coming to terms with things a bit more now, and it'd be nice to sort of go back to the things that I enjoy doing. So
Yeah.
geek time.
But yeah, so we've obviously got some stuff up about the menopause and your mental well-being. So menopause, obviously, I know there's men out there and they obviously won't be going through this, but they will be going through it with their partners.
Yes.
So we wanted to cover, as it being May, Mental Health Awareness Week's month, sorry. So we just wanted to touch ground on this before we carry on with the investigation side of things. So obviously changes in your hormones. We have hormones galore, us women, don't we? It could be 1 minute you're fine,
Oh.
next minute you could
Yeah.
be crying because someone said hello to you.
Oh, well, it starts, doesn't it, really, like from teenage years, and then it carries on all the way through until you get to you get perimenopausal, and then you actually come out the other side. But men have hormones too, don't they, as well?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
often think, I sometimes think that men maybe go through their own, not a menopause, but their own like
They go through hormone
changes.
changes. Oh, bad fairy, I'm so sorry to hear that.
Oh,
It's not easy, is it? So
bad
yeah, well,
fairy. Yeah, my partner was 45. It's too young, isn't it? It's horrible. And it's the effect it has on everyone left behind is so sad. I'm so sorry you've had to go through that too.
and like that with the loss of a partner, um, it's like it doesn't only affect you, it affects the children and everything. So you've got to try and, you know, look after yourself, but also at the same time you're looking after the children as well. And looking for all of those sort of signs that someone's kind of going through that, if you know what I mean. That
Yeah,
they're struggling and stuff like that. So yeah, it's such a wide, and this is where like it does annoy me with the stigma side of things, because it everyone needs to talk, and men do suffer from depression as well. They suffer from being abused and stuff like that. So especially with men, because I know us women, we do. If we catch up and stuff like that, we'll have a chat, and you tend to say, "Oh, is everything all right?" And you do feel more comfortable talking to a friend, whereas with men, they don't.
That's
So
it. It's not considered like
yeah,
macho to sort of sit and have a cry on a mate's shoulder and stuff, is
no,
it, for the
exactly.
guys?
And
Yeah.
yeah, it's horrible because especially with life at the moment, and I don't want to bring the horrible C word into it, but when we all went through COVID and we was locked up, a lot of things come out, like with people they were struggling with depression, and you know I think domestic abuse went through the roof for both women and
Yeah,
men. We've got to remember that men do suffer from domestic abuse as well, and
absolutely. Yeah.
and it's not as half reported as it is with the women. So yeah, so we just wanted to you know touch base, and we're going to put some links up in our YouTube in the chat, in the description as well. So if there is anyone going through a bad time, we're here if you want to talk, because the main thing is talking is good. It just
Absolutely.
helps.
I was much rather people come and talk to me about things than bottle it up. I am here for anyone after what I've gone through. The I honestly, I've got a lot of pain back because I've had a lot of good friends around me, and I was really, really lucky. And I just want everyone out there to know, just message me, and I'll message you back, and
Yeah,
we'll have a chat for sure.
even something like this case, Nikki's case, that could also, that effect will affect a lot of people because it's so widely reported, and it is really, a lot of people, there will be triggers in this case galore.
Yeah, because I can't stop thinking about Nikki's mum and
Yeah.
dad because they've lost their little girl.
Mm,
It doesn't matter how old she is, she's their little girl. And for all the people out there who've lost a child, they must be thinking the same. It might be triggering for them. You know,
yeah, no,
so
exactly. I know it's triggered me in a couple of ways. We will go through the domestic violence side of things in another stream, because I'm hoping to get someone in that's kind of, they are in that not in the environment of being domestic abused, but they're there, they're kind of like they work in that environment. So yeah, I'm hoping to get someone in so we can cover the domestic side of abuse side of things.
do
Um,
they work on as like a counsellor for ladies that have suffered from the
yeah, and
domestic?
like safeguarding and stuff like that. So yeah,
Yeah.
you know, I will literally, we will cover that because um,
Yeah, I get with
all of
DV. The
this,
statistics are it's one
yeah,
in four, 1 in 4 ladies at some stage in their life will suffer from DV.
yeah,
It might be, short term, or it could last for a longer time. But if you think of yourself in a supermarket line, say there's four ladies in a row,
yeah.
1 in 4 of yous, you know, would have that in a lifetime. So
And a lot of
it's
people don't know they're going through it, because domestic abuse as well is a lot of different things. So not only have you got the physical, you've got mental, um, and you, before you know it, because I will say that I've been through domestic abuse, and I didn't know I was in it until
oh
it was too late. So we just
yeah.
kind of want to get that out there as well. But we'll cover that in another stream once we've got all of the details up, and hopefully I can convince this lovely little lady to come and join us. So
Oh, that sounds brilliant. Yeah,
yeah,
I think sometimes hearing from the professionals as well, it can let you know what helps out there as well.
yeah. So going back
So
on to depression, even depression, it's such a variety of different things that can set you off. So we'll start with the perimenopause. So that
yeah.
obviously
Oh,
it
and that's
does.
about my bag there is. I was
I
like
know I'm
literally
not
in a
far off
doctor's
it.
this week. Oh,
I'm not far off it. I don't think either. But even that, I
oh,
noticed. You know, I'm not actually there yet, but I think I'll get to that stage because I'm very tired at the moment. Um, if I have the choice of going to do something like housework or something like that, or sleep for longer, I sleep for longer. And it's like you kind of have to talk to yourself, like, come on, get up, do this, do that, and then it gets to the point where you just look at like, say, you look at your house and you just think, oh, and and then all of
oh.
a sudden you just do it. So obviously,
Well, for me,
um,
I've been like that for a while, and I'm like, what's wrong with you? Why aren't you just doing these simple little things?
small changes.
Um, and then it didn't even occur to me that it would be perimenopausal. And then it was one of my friends from school, who's obviously the same age as me, um, mentioned on Facebook that she's having a bugger of a time, and I thought, do you know what? That sounds like what I'm going through. And so I was like literally this week having a chat with my GP about it. So what I've got to do now is I've got to research hormones and make a decision really as to what she thinks I might need. And to go and make another appointment, and we're going to have a proper chat. I had blood tests done. I am anemic at the moment as well, so that might be causing the tiredness. But I know I'm still perimenopausal as well.
See, I'm
So
blood galore, and it's all coming back through. It's like, well, they're coming back through. Why the hell am I feeling like this? So that could be frustrating. But you could also be feeling like anxiety, stress, anger, irritably. So something, simple or little can just literally throw you over the edge, and you like forgetfulness. I don't know. I think I've suffered with forgetfulness like pretty much my whole life, but it is getting worse.
yeah, I forget like simple words. I'll have to describe around the words. And I was
Yeah,
saying to
yeah,
the girls, what
yeah.
getting that thing with four wheels that we get in every day in the morning that we drive to school back and say, oh yeah, the car. It's sometimes it's really obvious stuff as well, and you're just like, oh, what is wrong with you?
Why did I walk in this room again? So you've got
Yeah,
loss of self-esteem, loss of confidence, low mood, feelings, sadness, and depression, poor concentration, often described as brain fog or loss of words. So yeah, you know, you kind of look at
are
that.
you beeping in the background?
Oh, Joe's just put something on.
Oh,
Everything.
I can hear the noises. I thought it was my
We've got
daughter then.
this. So yeah, it's like you look at those sort of all those descriptions that have come up there. Um, they are pretty much mostly when you're suffering from depression and stuff like that. Um, you can feel them pretty much every day.
Yeah,
So it is hard.
I think that every single one of them, more or less, is yeah.
Yeah. So it is hard, like to eliminate of what's is you're feeling depression or whether you are starting to go through the menopause. So it is hard, but it's always wise to go to the doctors just to find out because even with having to need some antidepressants for a little while just to help you get out of this lull that you're in, there's nothing wrong with that. If you need a bit of help,
Absolutely.
take it.
And they
It
can be
is.
so effective as well, because there's again, there was a bit of a stigma attached to taking antidepressants, but they
Yeah,
can really, really help. And and they work until you are ready to come off them, and you will know when you're ready to come off them. And most GPs are really fine with you. You stay and you tell me when you're ready to come off them, or you, like I just weaned myself off them, and then went and said, oh yeah, wean myself off the tablets, don't need them all, and then but then I've had, and like after my partner passing away, I had to go back on them again, so you can go on at any time, but just always just talk to your GP as well, just let them know what's going on.
yeah. It's horrible. I know. I can admit that. And once I was with someone, and I was literally, I was going through the domestic abuses. It wasn't really domestic abuse. It's more of the controlled side of things. And he made me feel so horrible about having depression and stuff like that, and being on antidepressants, and made me feel like I was just not even worth taking,
Oh
and stuff like that. But that was his way of trying to control me and stuff like that. And
yeah.
in the end, after a while, it ended up I had to get the police involved because he just would not leave me alone, even after I turned around and told him to sod off. I was getting all
Oh
threatening phone calls and stuff like that. He was going to turn up at the house. Um, yeah, he just literally, the house phone just constantly kept ringing. I was getting text messages. I blocked the number, and then I'll get emails. I block that, and then he'd even start on like the Xbox and send me messages on that. So I was blocking him on there
oh
through profiles, and it was just like, it was enough. And at one point, the last message before I went to the police, he sent me, and I just was like, Joe, I don't want to be here no more. So I just can't deal with it. And because I've been there before, and I've taken tablets and I've gone to the hospital and stuff like that. I swore myself that I would never do that again.
yeah.
So I kind of knew that I was in that at that point. So I just literally unplugged the house phone. I turned my mobile off. I turned all the lights off. I just sat in the front room and cried. And even a good cry, it just gave me that tiny bit of strength just to, you know, fight that little bit more. I think I'd already contacted the police regarding that, and it was,
Yeah.
and I was sending them all the emails and the messages that they were sending, or he was sending. I was sending it to them, and still, it took 5 or 6 days, and this was
Wow.
the weekend. Yeah, this was at the weekend, and I think it was a Sunday. And the Monday, I contacted them and I said, "Look, you need to go and do something right now, or you're going to end up having something else on your hands because I can't deal with it no more." And
Yeah.
it literally was that day they went and arrested him. But still, after that,
Oh.
still like two weeks later, I got a message like, "Oh, did I leave some shoes there?" And I was just like, didn't reply.
Oh.
And that's what they do. They do that. They just try, and they think that after a little while they can contact
Yeah.
you again, and you'll be like, "Oh yeah, no, no, you didn't." And I was just like, "Nah."
Yeah, because they can work in different ways, can't they? Because
Yeah,
that he sounds like a bit of a hard worker. He's trying to sort of wangle his way in, and then I bet you was he nice to you to try and sort of bring you back round to
yeah,
speaking
yeah,
terms, and then as soon as you're like thinking, oh, we're talking, everything's good, then he just throw a spanner in the works and start being nasty, and that's what
yeah,
head workers do. They go around in a cycle of abuse.
yeah,
Um, whereas, I could get people that they call them king of the castle, and they can be like, "This is my house," and and they can make you feel uncomfortable because what they actually do is when you're in a DV environment. They try and pull you away from your friends and your family. They try and make you financially dependent on them.
Yeah.
Um, they just like to cut you off and set in every way possible. Going to the gym, you only want to go to the gym because you fancy the gym instructor. No, you're not allowed to go there. um
Yeah.
the and every single area, go, you want to go and see your friends, well, you want to go and see your friend because you can have a girls' night out, so you want to meet someone else because you want to meet, leave me. That, they cut you off literally from everything.
Yeah.
And it's awful. um and I think personally, in schools, they should teach kids, both girls and boys, about DV, and just get them to think about things before they find themselves in a situation. And
Yeah,
then,
because I like when I was younger, and you see all of this stuff on the news and things like that. Because obviously social media wasn't around then, but you see it on the news, and I always used to say to myself, why don't they just leave? I wouldn't put up with that. Why would just leave them? And then like
yeah,
when I was in it, and I'm like, Jesus Christ! And even my friend was like that. She used to turn around and say, "Well, I'll never be in that situation. I'm too much of a strong head." And then she found herself in that situation, and I was saying to her, "Look, you're in it. This is happening. You can't do this." And she's like, "I never thought I'd ever be like that." And I said, "I was the same." You know,
yeah. Because
you
I,
can
like,
think,
I've been through something similar as well. But what I found with some of my friends was as well is they'd be like, I think you should leave him. But when their opinion turns into an instruction as well, and then
yeah,
I was like, I am not having you telling me what. I hate
yeah,
being told what to do.
yeah,
So I fell out with friends over that as well. And the people who I've got such a strong relationship with, and that includes my mum actually as well. They were the people that didn't give me instructions, and it was genuine advice, and it was genuine, and it was unconditional love and advice that they gave me. And they were like, look, we know that you've sat down and thought about this more than anyone possibly could, and if that's what you want to do, then that's fine by me. But you know what I think, and you can come here at any time when you need to talk about stuff.
yeah,
And that's how things were left. And I think it's so if anyone knows of anyone in that situation, just I just avoid being given the instructions, and make sure that they know that you're there unconditionally for them.
100%.
Obviously give them advice, but let them know it's only advice, and you don't have to take it. We're not going to fall out if you don't take it. That's so important, from my own perspective.
Yeah, no, like you just got to make sure, like you say, you're there. You just got to be there, and just say to them, you know, no matter what happens, I'm here. Don't judge, because judging is the worst one that you can do.
That's so it's embarrassing, isn't it? Nobody
Yeah,
ever chooses to be in a DV relationship. That's nobody ever thinks, hey, I that's what I want for myself. Never. And you find yourself in that position, and it's embarrassing. It's just sad on so many different levels. And just even being able to confide in friends and telling them what's going on, is difficult. So if
yeah.
a person
You've got to
chooses to do that,
yeah, you've
that
got to
that's
remember as well that when someone's in that situation, their self-esteem is so low anyway. So if someone else, like say, if you go in there and start judging them, it's just again they just can't get any lower. So just be there on the side and
that's it. And
literally,
and also never repeat what they've told you, unless they
no,
give you permission as well, because that's another big thing. You've got to you know, bring out the trust in that person as well. You might think you're doing them a favour maybe if you go to, you know, maybe their parent or somebody and speak to, you know, the other person, but it could work out really, really badly, you know, and
Okay, so
never go
just
and tell a
keeping it deep.
partner,
Oh,
never
that's
get
probably
involved with the partner.
That's Joe Claire. I we try and have the silent ones when I'm on the stream. But yeah, it is. It's it's horrible, and that situation that I told you about a second ago. That was my second time of being in it. So the first time I finally got out of it, and then I found myself back in it again, and
Oh,
I just, I was just like, I was rock bottom again after that, and I've always had like problems with my mental health, and um, I've always been because I've had so much go on in my life. Obviously, I'm not going to go into it in detail, but it's been so many different things that has actually knocked me like rock bottom again. So
oh,
I feel like I pulled myself out of it, and then I'm back in it again and stuff like that. So it's like now, um, it literally like 3 years ago. Um, I don't know if you saw like when or remember when Caroline Flack killed herself.
oh, gosh, can you remind me what happened now? I remember the name, I can't
So
remember.
she was the lady that done Love Island, and
Yes.
yeah, so she obviously apparently there was a row between her and her partner, um, and like the police were called, um, and because obviously she was like a celebrity, um, the partner was like, no, nothing happened. I'm not pressing charges. Nothing happened, but the police still pursued it. So even though the partner was saying, no, nothing happened. Yeah, we had a row, but she didn't hit me and stuff like that. The police was like, no, we're still pursuing it, still gonna do it. And it was like, so all of the stress of that. Then she lost her job at the Love Island. Um, and on Valentine's Day, literally
Oh,
3 years ago, she decided to hang herself.
oh,
And yeah, and that was
it's
because the
so
police kept
awful.
pushing for it. And it's like,
So
again,
sometimes the police aren't always the solution as well, because sometimes they can actually make the situation a whole lot worse.
yep, yep.
Yeah.
And
Um,
when she done that, I just kind of looked at my life then, and I was like, I can't do this no more. I can't literally. She was so young. She was like my age. So I was like, that poor girl has now lost her life because she was so down. She didn't speak about it. She was trying to, trying to. She was fighting the police over this. The papers literally was ripping into her and stuff like that, and she found no way out.
oh,
That was her only way out was to do
and
that.
that's another level of stress again, you know, with it
Yep.
being a public person, you know, celebrities, you know, she's gonna be in the papers and have everyone analysing a relationship there as well.
Yeah.
So that, oh, poor thing, poor
Yeah. So
thing.
that like um kind of woke me up, and I was like, you know what, I just want to be happy again. So
Yeah.
literally, I got to the point where I was like, I actually started. I finally admitted to myself that I was gay, and I that took me. It was hard. It was scary, and obviously I told my best friend at the time. She was the first person I told, and then I turned around and told someone at this club that we go to on a Friday. I literally turned around and I told one of the old ladies there, and she just said, and what, that
Yeah.
don't make no difference to me. She's like, I still love you. And it
Yeah.
kind of like it gave me that strength to start telling other people. Like I didn't even tell my mum and dad straight away. I was telling other people first. And even my mum and dad said, they was like, we knew. And I'm like, what? I was like, yeah, we knew.
Oh.
And it was like,
Yeah.
why didn't you tell me? But they was like, well, but it's not our place to say. You have to find out for yourself, which I understand now. And now I'm in a
Yeah.
good place, you know. And it's been that I've gone through all of my life up into my 30s, late 30s, before I finally admitted who I was. And that was
Yeah.
like, it's, you know, it's stuff like that. It's like, you know, it's always in the back of your head, and it's like, no, no, you're not, no, you're not, and stuff like that. And then, yeah,
Well, that's it. Like it's difficult, you know, to come out to parents and friends at any age, isn't it? But especially
yeah,
after you've lived your life, you know, and had kids and things, you know, in a man and lady relationship, then to come out and say that as a change. But yeah, I think I've got a few friends who've done the same thing as well. You know, that they one of my friends has said she's known all her life that she's been gay, but she wanted the kids, so she's had a kid, and now she's you know, happily married to a lady, and that's great.
yeah.
And
And,
I
you
said,
know,
and all that matters is that she's happy, and you know, it's a good relationship, and she's like, no man can ever make me feel how I am now. You know, she's really, really, you know, happy with herself, you know, and you know, the kids have adapted and everything's good. They get to see
yeah,
their dads, and they've got two mums at home as well.
yeah. And that's so nice that it's like worked out like that.
Yeah.
And then this is what we're trying to get across. Like, there's so many different reasons out there that can cause, you know, depression and mental health. And it, you know, it could even be something as simple as that, you know, you've got everything in life that, you know, people look at the money side of things. You know, they've got this big house, they've got the car, they've got, you know, the good job, but there could be also one thing missing, that they're not happy because they're not in a loving relationship. Or you could be in a
Yeah.
loving relationship. It's like, this is like with the whole spectrum sort of side of things, of jealousy comes out. You know, you could have the loving relationship, but you haven't got the money and the car, and you know, this is where life is just so cruel sometimes.
Yeah, um, yeah, I remember a work colleague telling, you know, she told me that she just was feeling like under the weather mentally, and you know, and I was like, you know, sitting with her going, well, you know, is it the job? And no, we like the job, and I was like, you know, is everything okay with your partner at home? Yeah, everything's amazing, and all that, you know, and you know, she wasn't concerned about money, and she literally could not put a finger on it. um, and what she was actually told by her GP, because she went and spoke to a GP, and she was told that it's a chemical change in her brain, and that can make you feel depressed. And
Yeah,
so that's why there's no rhyme or reason for it, but it's just a chemical thing. And
yeah,
she ended up taking some meds, you know, to help her make her feel better. And she said, "Yeah, I feel great now. I'm taking meds. I'm okay." But she like just there doesn't have to be a reason. And this is where
no,
it is just so hard for people, you know, because there isn't always a rhyme and reason to it all.
no. And you know, I know this isn't like part of one of the chats that a lot of people aren't going to be interested in, things like that, but you know, we just want to get the mental health side of things out there, and just prove that, try and get rid of this stigma, and prove that it's okay to be not okay. And
Yeah.
you know, and I've been looking at a website called Mind, and you know, and it says on there, like, unfortunately not everyone understands mental health problems. Some people may have a misconceptions about what certain diagnoses mean. They may also use language to find dismissive, offensive, or hurtful. This can be very upsetting, especially someone who feels this way is a family member, colleague, or health professional. You know, and it's horrible. It's horrible to think that people out there, and it's mostly the people that are out there that think like that. They have probably got, you know, some sort of depression as well, but they don't want to admit it to themselves.
That's right. Oh, I've got a friend who answers the phones for Mind in the spare time. It's a charity. You have
Yeah,
to do a bit of training. But yeah, it's so, some of the circumstances she's found herself in that role. It's been so sad.
yeah,
Um, she'll give me the overview. She'll never go into specifics about it all, but it's a lot of people struggling out there, and there isn't a lot of resources via the NHS. Um,
the NHS nowadays, like not just with mental health side of things, but with everything, they are so they're just losing everything. Like I went to the doctors yesterday because I've got vertigo at the moment, and I've got tablets
oh,
for vertigo, and I said to the doctor about it, and I said how bad it was making me feel, and I can't do nothing. And she turned around to me and went, "So what do you want us to do about it?" And I'm like,
oh
you're
wow.
a medical professional, you should be telling me what I can and can't do. So I ended up turning around to her.
Vertigo is it quite a serious
Yeah,
condition?
yeah.
Yeah,
And I said, refer me back to ENT because I've always had problems with my ears and stuff like that. But the fact is, I yesterday it was so not yesterday, the day before, it was so bad that I couldn't. It kept taking my breath away every time, like everything span inside of me. But yeah, for her to turn around and say, what do you want us to do about it? Well, you're the doctor.
oh, that is such a bad attitude from you. I can't believe they'd say that to
And that's
you.
what I
That
find nowadays. I do find
yeah,
nowadays they're getting like that more and more. And the same with
yeah,
like mental health at the hospital. They turn around to like a patient and say, "So, what made you do this tonight?" And like whoever said, "Are you going to do it again?" No. And then they go, "All right, then we don't think you need any more help. Off you go. You can go home now." And then they just charge them, and it's like, if someone that is struggling and getting to the point where they want to do something really serious to themselves, and they know they don't want
yeah.
to be in the hospital and they don't want to get help, they're going to turn around and go, "No, I'm not going to do it again."
Yeah, they're just gonna go, I'm fine,
Yeah,
yeah, and no one's really seriously there to assess them. Yeah, even if
yeah,
people are like, please help me, I am going to, do something really daft. Because I've seen somebody literally like that, and they didn't get the help, and they're not here anymore. And that
no,
literally, it's horrible. It was so sad. Um, you know, it was a person. I live in the northwest of England. He came over from, I think it was like Dorset, and he had kids with a girl here. She wouldn't let him see his kids here. And he didn't have anywhere to stay really. He was just sort of sofa surfing, and it all got on top of him. So he was really, really down while he was here. Anyway, he had a bit of support from people here, but then he went to Dorset, and then it was on Facebook. He was saying, "Oh, I don't want to be here anymore," and somebody phoned up the local police in Dorset, and they went to his flat. And he was really, really annoyed about that someone doing that. He put on Facebook, "Well, how dare somebody betray my trust? I've had the police knock on my door. I don't want the police around here." But um, it was only a few weeks later, and then we were hearing that he wasn't here anymore, and he really needed that help.
yeah.
It's
It's
really, really sad, really sad. Um, but it's crazy, isn't it? How you know, like I think in the Victorian days, people had more help with mental health, because at least there was somewhere for them to go. You know, the police don't section a person anymore.
No, no, they don't.
There's literally, because I was talking to a police officer about it, and they said we can't do anything. I said, well, can't you section them? And they said, no, we very, very, very rarely do we section a person. They said it's only really if they're at risk of like maybe being at harm, to another person, really, that we
Yeah,
can do
and
anything.
it's all this human rights sort of side of things as well. And like with the human rights, if someone, even though they're to the point where they could cause serious harm to like themselves or other people, they won't section them because they're in the right state of mind.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it's like, it's a hard subject to talk about, and
it really
like
is difficult
Joe's
to.
just put, you can see people coming and going. Not everyone's interested in the subject, and no, they're not. But it's out there, this stream out there. Someone might be struggling one day, come across this on YouTube and listen to it and understand things a bit better. And hopefully, if they, if it gets into someone and they think, yeah,
Yeah,
one person, and it
literally
helps
one.
them, that's we've done our job. But we just wanted to cover it because obviously, like you say, with Nikki, bless her, she the police have come out and said that she was struggling, and it's like, don't say that. You know, turn around and say someone is, they're vulnerable at the moment, but don't give out the reason why they done it, because then it
Absolutely.
just knocks all the hard work back and brings the stigma back again.
Because when you're confiding in your GP, that's literally what you're doing, confiding. You're not, telling all your friends and family, and it's, when at that stage, they didn't actually know where she was at that stage. She could have been here still and be
Yeah,
hearing all the backlash of comments made
and
in
that being put
regards to
out,
her
that,
mental health. And
yeah,
then would she really want to come back after hearing all that? She's already feeling vulnerable. You know, I just, it beggars belief that they would say that. I just can't believe how foolish they were and how that's ever allowed.
no. And it's, and I just want to get it out there to everyone. If anyone that does listen to this stream, if you are feeling like that, the only advice I can give you is talk to someone that you trust. Or even if you don't want, if there's no one that, your friends or family that you find you can talk to, email us. We will put everything in the description as well, all the links that we can. Um,
100%. Yeah, I'm more than happy. I have got all the time in the world to speak to somebody who wants to reach out, and I'll give you the best of advice that I can do. And I'll give you some links to get better advice from the experts as well. But person to person, sometimes you just want to speak to somebody who's been through it all.
yeah, and I think that's, if someone out there can see that pretty much most people deal with mental health on a daily basis and
Yeah.
quite open about it, then it might make them strong enough to go and do it as well.
Yeah, I take antidepressant tablets right now. I'm taking them on prescription. So and it's not uncommon. A lot of people that I know, are, and there's no problem, about it. I'm not ashamed of it.
Yeah. And, the way I try and look at things now is that, yeah, if you're in a dark place, I think one point when I was really rock bottom, the only way is up. You can, it can get better and it will get better. It's not the last resort of having to do something, because not only like I think about it, it's not only, yeah, I'm making myself feel a bit better because I wouldn't be here no more, but then I think about everyone else. So like the kids and the family and friends and stuff like that. You're then passing your feelings onto someone else because they won't have you no more. Does that make sense?
That's it. Yeah. Well, they've got like a new set of feelings, and they've got a bereavement, haven't they? And then they've also got it tops on with, like, if wait, look, what my friends took their own life, and I felt awful. Thought, he never spoke to me about it, and I thought, did he really think that nobody cared?
Yeah,
And speaking to, his family and our wider circle of friends, he had some amazing people behind him. But this is why I went on a suicide awareness course, and they explain that to that person, they believe that the world is a better place without them in it. That's what they strongly believe.
yeah,
uh, you know, I'm doing the right thing. But it's going to be much easier. Yeah, they'll be upset at first, but then they'll be okay, and I won't be there causing them trouble in it. And they do it, and when really it's what do they call it? A long-term solution to a permanent solution to a short-term problem. That's the word,
yeah,
and that's exactly how it is.
yeah. And
But they
it's
don't say
horrible.
they're not thinking rationally, though, are they? That's the thing.
No, no, and no one is when they're in that frame of mind.
No.
And it is. Sorry, I got itchy eyes. It is horrible to think that they done that to themselves, thinking that that they'd be better off. The world would be better off without them, but it won't.
Because like a lot of people are saying about Nikki's family, saying that they've got peace from her, having an idea that she's just gone and just made that decision, and that's that, and that may well be giving them some peace on a temporary basis, but um, in the long term, I strongly believe that they will want to know just the full truth, whatever it may be.
Yeah, yeah. And it's
You know,
horrible to think that someone has got to that point where they just can't see nowhere out, no way out. I think I've already said that. See what I mean? Forgetfulness.
the big oh, it's horrible. I've been having hot flushes today. The weather's been hot anyway, and but I get hot flushes, and it's just horrible. They're overwhelming. You can like literally be like, oh, I'm nice and comfortable, and then the next thing you're like, oh, it just feels like you're on fire or something. It's horrible. Oh,
I'm not looking forward to that stage because
it,
I'm hot always anyway. So that I
it's
think might drive me insane.
Oh, it really does. You're like literally, you're getting a cold shower, and then the next thing again, you'll be freezing, and then you'll get cozy again, and then you'll be burning up again. It's just there's no rhyme or reason to it because it doesn't matter what the weather's doing outside if it's freezing, and
Yeah,
when
what I actually got last year to sleep on because I was always getting so hot then when I was sleeping that I was sweating. I actually went to one of the local shops and brought um, one of those cooling mats for dogs, and I sleep on
oh
that at night because it keeps me cool.
oh, but if it works, isn't it?
Yeah, not it's good
I
for me. It keeps me cool at
might
night.
try that. You should give me an idea there.
Yeah. And I tell you what, it's amazing. You get into bed and it's just like, ah, because the coolness of it just literally just keeps you cool inside. But yeah,
Oh, the hormones are just crazy things anyway. Because another time people get depressed is postnatal depression as well. That's a big thing.
yeah,
Um, And you know, again, I didn't get postnatal depression, but I kind of got a postnatal. I suppose it's anxiety. Really, I was just like really, you know, I went a bit germ phobic. Everything had to be sterilized like 30 times, you know, and I just, yeah, I couldn't relax until certain things were done to the excess, and that was driving me nuts as well. And it was, I know it was driving a girl's dad's nuts as well. You know, he's like, "Will you just chill out?" You know, and I get narky with him as well because, you know, he'd make a mess, you know, if you had made a butty, and I'd be like, "I have just advertised that worktop and you're using it," you know. Oh, so, and again, I think it's just the hormones kicking in, isn't it? Because it's
Yeah,
nature's way of saying, "I've got to keep this baby healthy," and you know, yeah, you know, when you just like don't want any germs to, you know, going into your baby. You just want your baby to be perfectly hygienic and safe. And
yeah,
but I know other people have different experiences of postnatal depression. Just, you know, some people struggle bonding with their child.
yeah,
You know, some people struggle being parted from the child.
yeah. See, when our eldest was born, I was in labour for such a long time, and I ended up collapsing in the labour ward because I lost quite a bit of blood, and then they
Oh,
didn't clear his lungs properly. So when he was, it got to the night time. They come over to do their like checks on them, and his feet were turning purple, and it
oh.
was like he's not getting enough oxygen. So they literally whipped him off to like ICU, and I was like, what's going on? Where are you taking him? Where are you taking him?" And he was in like the
Well, that
baby
must have been really
unit for
scary, though, to be
yeah,
fair.
he was in the baby unit for like 4 days, and
Oh,
obviously I was like breastfeeding at that point, so they ring me up at the ward and say, "Right, can you come feed the boy?" And I was like, "Yeah, right, I'm on my way down." But every time I wanted to go down there to spend some time with him, they would it's like made me feel like I was in the way, if you know what I mean. And
yeah.
it was like,
I
"Yeah,
know other
can you feed
people
me now?"
who've
Yeah,
other people I know who've had the babies go into a special care baby unit. I've said that, you know, you know, they're busy in there, and there's other babies, and they, you know, it's kind of, you feel that you're working around them rather than them working around you,
yeah. It's like
and you're,
literally as soon as I fed him, it was like they was trying to get rid of me again. It's like, hold on, I've just had this baby, and like you want me to feed him, but then I'm not allowed to bond with him at the same time. And yeah, that did. Luckily, I didn't suffer really badly with postnatal depression, but that affected me a lot because I was like, you know, he don't know he's not going to know who I am. Um,
yeah, you start panicking, don't you? You know, and
yeah,
then I suppose like the fact that he's poorly enough to go in there as well. You know, that must be a worry. And then when you get him home as well, you're thinking, is he okay now? Or is that going to happen again? Well, I needed to have a blood transfusion after my eldest was born, and I was like, oh, I don't take my daughter away.
yeah, that's what I mean. Like, that's where the depression side of things is so varied. It could be anything that sets you off,
Yeah.
and
Well,
it's
I was having a blood transfusion with one arm having a blood, and then the baby tucked under the other arm. So it was a bit mild, really. But yeah, you know, they were like, "Oh, fair play. That if you're comfortable to do it like that, that's fine by us." And you know, all the auxiliary nurses were all coming, and it was throughout the night. I was having the blood transfusions, and that they were just sort of happy, you know, sitting having a chat and taking pictures of my daughter sticking a finger up her nose and stuff. She's there putting her own finger up her nose, and oh, it's funny. Um, but
Yeah, but that's the thing. You
it,
could like we can look back at it now and we can laugh about it, but at that time when we was going through it, it was the worst time that we could imagine ourselves going through.
yeah, oh, that's it, because you just don't know really what's going on. You don't know what's
No,
happening from one day to the next, do you?
no, no.
So
Uh,
that oh well, I will in a hospital near me as well, because we're in the northwest. We've got one of the baby care nurses is up in court. Lucy Letby trial. She's been heard at the moment. So she's been accused of killing some babies and harming other ones and stuff. So, but I don't know
yeah,
whether or not she's been made scapegoat for the failings of the NHS. To be honest with you, I don't
it
know.
wouldn't
I'm
surprise me.
because it might be easier just to say that they've got a rogue member of staff rather than admit that their department's shite and they're making a lot of
Yeah, it
mistakes.
surprise me.
Yeah,
A
so
lot of things are like that now, aren't they?
that's it. Yeah, it's like oh gosh, I'm having a blank moment again. The guy who did the searching for Nikki, he was
Nicky
scapegoated.
Fording? Yeah,
Yes, that's the one.
yeah.
Yeah,
We was
you know,
watching. Did you see that interview that he done with James? I can't remember his last name now. Hmm? Oh, Joe's going to get the link. But yeah, we was watching him and what that guy has achieved and how um, knowledgeable he is on everything. It's amazing, and yeah, it will make you think a lot about this case, MB's case as well, because he could
that's
find someone without even he knows where he sort of knows where they will be before he even finds them.
that's it, because experience
Yeah,
pays dividends, doesn't it? Because obviously he's seen the similarities between cases, and he can probably look at a map and understand the circumstances and go, he'll have already earmarked about 3 or 4 different search areas, before he's even got there.
yeah, no, but we was literally amazed by him, like when we was watching it. He said right at the age of 5, his dad had him climbing through like mines in small spaces because he was the smallest one. So his dad had him climbing through all these mines and stuff like that. And this is literally where it's all come from. Like James English, thanks Claire. Um, yeah, it's like from all the stuff that he used to do with his dad, and now he can take that experience, and that's why he is as good as he is now.
Oh
Um,
wow, I haven't
yeah,
seen that. I'll have to watch it later.
yeah,
That
yeah. The
so
link is in the chat. So yeah, when we're done, we won't go for much longer because I don't think many people are interested in mental health.
it's so sad though, isn't it, that people are not interested in mental health, because it really does affect so many people. Because like I had it like going back to when I was a teenager, sitting exams, and
Yeah,
like having boyfriend issues, and then it goes into, I was having a rough time in work, and I went and seen a doctor about that, as well as getting anxiety. Do you know what was weird as well was my GP was really reluctant to put it down on my medical records that I had anxiety, because I wanted to be a police officer back when I was a kid, and he didn't want to put that down on my medical records in case it affected my job prospects.
nah, that's bad, isn't it?
I, I, I he was doing me a favour, but yeah, it was a little bit. I thought so. I walked away from that thinking, so now what? He gave me advice on how to combat it. He was like, look, you've got anxiety, you need to do things for yourself, like he told me that I should go swimming and make sure you get yourself out every day, and and speak to your family and friends about things, and he taught me some ways to calm myself down. So I think his heart was in the right place, because he knew fine well that if he put it down like anxiety on my medical records, that might stop me getting or what I thought at that stage was my dream job as a police officer. But
Yeah,
yeah, as I got older, I decided against it.
yeah. Claire's put, he knows what's gone on too. Oh yes, you could see that in that interview. There was little snippets. I don't know if it was just me on and thinking the way I thought, but I just felt that he was mentioning things like, um, I don't know, it was how he was saying it just made me think that, don't give up, and yeah, he was talking about all the armchair detectives and stuff like that at one point, and he said like
Oh,
how you know how good, and some of the theories they've come up is really good and stuff like that. It was just these little droplets of words that he was saying, that made me think, yeah, he knows this is a cover up.
yeah. He's been working with the police for a long time, and he's familiar with how all the different police departments work. He's worked in London and all the different areas. And for him to go and get such a frosty reception from
Yeah,
Lancashire Police, yeah, he knows. Yeah,
yeah, and he said in there as well that he never gives up until he's found them. So the fact that, like, when he said that he was going to go back and do he was planning to do the land search the day after she finally got found.
I heard
No,
that.
sorry,
Yeah.
he said he was gonna, yeah, he said he was gonna go out and he planned it all out where he was gonna do the land search, and then
He'd
she got
plotted
found
it, hadn't he?
literally.
He'd plotted a map
Yep,
of areas where on land which weren't necessarily river based, where he intended to go, or possibly to pass to the local police to go and search. But yeah, I think he was planning on going back up, wasn't he?
yeah, and that's the thing. Um he's not just specialist in river searches. He's doing everything. So he spoke about one job that he went on. I can't remember the guy now, but it was the son, and he got sent called out there to try and find this guy's body. It's like they didn't know where he was and stuff like that. And it was in a garden, and he found one place, and he was like, they dug up, and it turned out to be a dog, and all the police, was it the chief inspector or someone, was like, oh, he's not here, I'm going home for the weekend, he's not here. And Peter Fording was like, well, I'm not giving up. And literally he carried on searching a little bit more, and then he found this guy. He found him buried in the garden, and they had to call the chief inspector back, and he was halfway down the motorway, and say, look, we found him.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's very
It's
interesting. I would say, like, anyone that's listening, if there's anyone still here, definitely go and watch it, because it will make
Yeah, right.
you
I'll sit down and have a watch of that for sure. Because I do find
refresh.
Peter Falding a fascinating guy. Anyway, I've heard his other interviews, so this sounds really definitely set me up now for half term. I can sit down and watch Peter Falding, and because I think what he does is phenomenal, and I believe his heart's in the right place. For the fact is he's been willing to help out with not just Nikki Search, but April Jones and numerous other people as well.
Yeah, no, exactly. Um, yeah, then we was watching something else last night, so we've got a couple of names that we're gonna bring into another stream that we're gonna do. So basically, they was looking at the killers trying to get away with murder, and it was all about like it was a listener, someone that watched, and something else, and the body language they picked up from the body language that these people were lying, that they had done it, and then someone was like certain words they used and things like that. It was very interesting to watch. So I'm like, right, I've got to now try and slow interviews down to try and find out if someone's done like if they've got this body language and stuff like that. But it's literally like a slight little movement in one of the shoulders and stuff like that, and the eyebrows and movements. It's so interesting.
Oh, yeah, right. When I did psychology, we did body language module, and that I found that really interesting. Like they always say, like when a person's stroking the chin as well, that's always the key sign, isn't it? I've seen King Charles do that a lot. But oh, there's a lot of telling gestures, isn't there, as well? Can you hear me? Hello? Oh, I can't hear you. I think it's your mic. I can't hear anything. Claire, can you hear anything? No. We might be better off just winding us up for the evening anyway, because it's a bit quiet night, isn't it? Um, no. I think if we wind it up for the night, we'll say over and out. But what we'll do is we will get some links set in the comments for anyone that listens to this after we've stopped going live. If anyone is feeling low and they need to talk about anything, we'll put some links in the comments and make sure that you can contact any of us in our team, and also the professionals as well, in case you need some real help. No, I'm happy to talk to anyone, literally, because I've been through stuff in my life, and sometimes it is just another person you need. So I'm going to say night to everyone from the team. So night, everyone, and I hope you all have a good half term, and I hope the weather stays like this. Bye.